Yes.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, call the council meeting to order. And item D is approval of minutes from May 16th, a special council meeting. Also May 16th, a regular council meeting. In the absence of any objections or corrections, they will stand approved. Item E, citizen communication. If there's anyone in the audience or on WebEx that would like to address council, please go ahead and put your questions in the comment section. Item F, reports from council committee. F1, Finance and Budget Committee did not meet on May 23rd, 2022, lack of agenda items. Item F2, Safety and Human Resources Committee met on May 23rd, 2022. Dan.
Yeah, at that time, we approved a recommendation to establish a temporary position of Assistant Operations Superintendent and approved a recommendation to update Section 197.06 of the residency requirement of the Personnel Code.
All right. Thank you. F3, Technology and Communications Committee met earlier tonight with the one agenda item.
Thank you. We met and had discussion on changing and updating the utility program and obtaining a new server for the finance department.
Thank you, Ross. Item H, introduction of new ordinances and resolutions. We have H1, ordinance number 031-22, an ordinance approving a certain agricultural district located in the city of Napoleon, Ohio, at the location of County Road R as applied for by American Road Holdings, LLC, and declaring an emergency. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
I'll take this.
All right.
This is a follow-up from last month where you approved several ag districts. The one for the American Road Holdings was a new one that you approved. It was not given to us at the same time, but there was a renewal, and this is just approving the renewal. And I would suggest that you go ahead and approve this one as well. And I'm asking for suspension just to get it through and be done with it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments regarding this? We have a motion for suspension.
Motion. Second.
Rox, please call the roll on suspension.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
Okay. And please call the roll on the ordinance.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
Okay, that is passed on first read under suspension. Item H2 is resolution number 032-22, a resolution amending resolution number 051-21, the city's yearly reoccurring cost legislation, and declaring an emergency. And suspension is requested as well.
Motion. Second.
Joel?
Thank you, Council President. We kind of talked about this at the last meeting, but this would be to include JT's building maintenance and construction. There's various projects that he has worked on this year, including at the police department, which is putting us very close to the $25,000 mark. We also have him contracted for nuisance abatement work, including nuisance mowing. So at that point, we'll be getting, we're a little close to that $25,000 mark. We had them on the list last year. Somehow it was omitted for this year, but just wanted to add them back on.
All right. Anyone have any questions or comments regarding this? Chief Mack, you want us to add them to this? You could have a motion for suspension.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll on suspension.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
All right, that's passed on suspension on first read. Item I1, ordinance number 028-22, an ordinance addressing the provisions of and authorizing the city of Napoleon, Ohio to opt out of amended substitute House Bill 172 and reaffirming the ban on the possession, sale, and discharging, igniting, or exploding fireworks within the city of Napoleon, Ohio, as set forth in Chapter 1519 of the Codified Ordinances of the city of Napoleon, Ohio, as it existed prior to the enactment of amended substitute House Bill 172, and declaring an emergency. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Billy?
I'll do it. Thank you, Council President. I have nothing new to report on this one. Would like to point out that the third read would be June 20. And it has an emergency clause, so it would take effect immediately and would be in place before the law changes on July 1. So everything's in order.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dr.
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
That one will move on to third read. Item I2, resolution number 029-22, a resolution authorizing the transfer of certain property to wit approximately 10.10 acres, more or less, or of real property, parcel number 28-07008.200, owned by the city, to the Community Improvement Corporation of Henry County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. A motion?
So moved.
Second.
Joel?
Thank you, Council President. Nothing new to report, and we're still looking to close on the property sometime soon after July 1st.
All right. Anyone have any questions or comments? Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
Okay, that one will be moving on to third reads. And item J, third reads of ordinances and resolutions, there are none. We move on to item K, good of the city. K1, discussion and action on recommendation to establish a temporary position of Assistant Operations Superintendent. Joel?
Thank you, Council President. The Safety and Human Resources Committee met, and we had discussed the replacement, unfortunately, of Mr. Jeff Rathke, who's here today. He served the city for a very long time and is very knowledgeable, has done a lot for the city, and it, overall, I think staff believes it's in the city's best interest to hire an assistant superintendent to shadow Jeff while we still have him, and likely, as long, if council approves of this, after 3 reads, and, going through a hiring process, we'll be able to get somebody on board sometime in October. That way they'll be able to see sort of how all of the different seasons work in terms of what happens at the operations department, so. It's a lot. Chad and Jeff did a great job in your package of putting together of the, outside of the obvious things that the operations department does. And this is including, but definitely not limited to, because there are many, many other things that, in here that, small things, some bigger things that aren't included on this list, but, coordinating spring and fall cleanup, hydrant flushing, snow removal, EPA reporting for wastewater and water distribution, refuse and recycling routes, including the, rescheduling around holidays and things like that. Street sweeping, mosquito control, yard waste site, street signs, replacement and, fixing, responding to crashes if need to for repair of certain things. There are potholes, sewer cleaning, roadside mowing contract. I mean, there are a lot of things in that position and happen at the operations department that are critical functions for the city. So we just believe that it's in the city's best interest to have somebody in there. So we discussed, I'm summarizing it. If anybody else on the committee wants to jump in and say something, please do. But this would be basically an overstaffed position temporarily until Jeff's retirement, which is planned for June 1st. However, you definitely got a month of vacation you want to take in May. And then, maybe sometime in April too. So I don't know when your last day in the office will be, but he was kind enough to give us an advanced warning too, so.
All right. We're just looking for a motion to direct the law director to draft legislation.
I'll make motion.
Second.
Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
All right. Item K2, discussion or action on recommendation to update section 197.06 residency requirements of the personnel code. Okay, Joel?
Thank you. I'll be really brief on this, and actually I'll ask Assistant Chief Joel Fry to help me out with this. But basically, what we're trying to do is loosen our restrictions and residency requirements to help us recruit more paid part-time employees. Does that cover it? Okay.
That covers it pretty much.
All right.
It's
I mean,
a little limited
it-
based on qualified individuals being able to work part-time for us specifically.
Yeah. And the residency requirement in adjoining county right now, if you live in Jerusalem Township in Lucas County, you're much farther away than you are if you live in certain portions of Paulding County. So, we're missing a certain segment, so hoping to make it a little easier so we can get pull from a bigger pool. And I think we do have somebody that was interested, that was from the Paulding County area.
We've had a lot of interested people from outside of the area.
So do we know if the history of this, was this having to be a surrounding or a connecting county, maybe due to more of volunteer or, like, to me, it doesn't seem like, I mean, if I want to drive an hour to work, and drive an hour to work, what was the issue?
Yeah, I think it was the issue of if they're needed in an emergency, they gotta live so close.
Okay.
Because at first it was so many miles from the courthouse, and then we expanded out to adjoining counties. But I think that's what it's all about, is making sure that we have people responding, and the people that are, for this pay this pay classification are not gonna be the ones that we're gonna call, hey, fire trucks are rolling out, we need you here now. It's,
Correct. They're
right?
the ones that are gonna be coming and backfilling, say that we get a large fire, or the ones that'll be working at the station for 12-hour shifts or 24-hour shifts
Right.
as a part-time basis for the most part. And it's a good thing to say that the rules were made before we even had that type of position even at the fire department.
Right.
So, just kind of something that kind of changes with the staffing models that we've gained.
Okay. Great. So tonight we're looking for a motion to direct the director to draft legislation.
So moved.
Second.
Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
All right. Item K3, discussion or action on 2022 Community Housing Impact and Preservation Program. Joel?
Did you want to take this one? Or, this was the CHIP program, is that a,
I wasn't aware that this was going to be discussed on
I,
here.
yeah, I mean, it's a, the CHIP program is a CDBG program that's actually run through the Maumee Valley Planning Organization runs it for us. So the grant money used through CDBG is actually a pass-through for us, so we've got to account for it. We've got to enter into grant agreements and into agreements with the Maumee Valley Planning. So this is a, more or less a renewal of that.
For us, it's what's called an in and out, where they pay the vendors, but we have to keep track of it, the grant, because if it's done within the city, then it's a grant within the city, you know, in our books. It's a very good program, and that does help some people with certain incomes that that they meet the requirements of, like putting a new house or putting a new roof on a house and keeping them in their house. And there are certain requirements that it's not, I get a new roof and then I sell it.
Right.
They can't sell it without repercussions or having to pay back certain things. This program's been around for many years. So,
We're looking for a motion to direct the law director to draft legislation.
So moved.
Second.
Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
Okay, item K4, discussion or action, award of the Ritter Park Area Path Project. Chad, are you?
Chad, you want to
Jan?
take it?
Yes, last Wednesday, we opened bids for the Ritter Park Path project. We received one bid for the project. The engineer's estimate was $921,685.50. The bid we received from Bernagel Incorporated was for $971,017 for the base bid. And the base bid with alternates was $979,613.90. The alternate is to use concrete from the easterly edge of Ritter Park to this property in place of asphalt. The base bid is asphalt, the alternate is to have it as concrete. Because this is an ODOT project, we were notified that we cannot pass this by simple motion. We actually need a resolution passed. I believe that's been prepared by legal. So it would be my request that council award this project to Vernon Nagel through the resolution prepared by the law department.
Okay. Thank you, Chad.
Can I comment on one thing? Chad brought up that the alternate bid had concrete in it. For an additional $8,600, using concrete from basically the boat ramp.
The driveway by the former lagoons for the water plant, from that driveway to essentially this property.
10 foot wide. I mean, that's that's a bargain, I think, for concrete work. However, for runners, I think runners like running on asphalt a little better, but
Or
that's
grass.
that's the trade-off. And then the other thing is just bringing Chad and I talked about this a little bit, but bringing in a paver into people's yards like that in the front, because it's going to come into the it's just off of the road, but it's still going to be in that right-of-way yard portion that people maintain. It's going to
Yeah,
Kinda tear it up.
The front edge
Where?
of this path will be about 10 to 15 feet off the edge of Riverview Avenue. There is green space between the two.
So, and we are looking at striping it in some form or fashion, but, you know, and that's where, you know, this decision helps us decide how we want to make sure that it's striped. And, because, you know, you've seen in other places where it's kind of like a miniature two-way street. You know, that's kind of what the vision is of this, so, you know, this is a bargain price for concrete, but it's definitely an elective position for council if, you know, we want concrete or asphalt, so. Originally, it was supposed to be asphalt.
Yes, originally the concrete was put in as an alternate, so we would have that option.
Yeah.
The grant money for this project is $800,000, so if we did the alternate, we would cover the additional cost. But the grant portion is $800,000 of this project.
Dan?
Yeah. Chad, does this, or does it not include the Jans Road portion of the project?
This does include that. That
Okay.
is concrete. That is 5 feet wide along the westerly side of James Road from the railroad to Riverview Avenue. And then there is a concrete structure being built that's essentially, it's a sidewalk, but it goes out and around to get down that hill, because we can't go straight down, it's too steep. So it pushes off towards the west and winds back around to tie into the existing stone path.
Thank you.
So the advantage of the concrete would be just durability?
It would, we believe it would, we'd have better durability if there wouldn't be as much maintenance. If we ever would have a problem out there with anything underground, cutting out a patch for concrete's much simpler than bringing in a paving machine to try to patch it back together. Yeah, I think that's about everything we talked about. See, that we wouldn't have the long-term maintenance, you know, how, people with asphalt driveways have to seal their driveway. That would be something we may have to do, or even crack sealing like we would a street.
Aesthetically, it would probably look nicer, wouldn't it? Or not?
To me, it would look nicer as concrete, but I'm used to seeing concrete sidewalks in yards. I suppose that's to each their own. I think it would look better as concrete, but that's just my opinion.
I would think the heaving and thawing that breaks down the asphalt and the constant maintenance, a rough estimate, what would be the maintenance cost, how much every so many years, if we did go with asphalt?
We'd
Just a
have-
rough guess.
We'd have to crack seal it, couple $5,000 maybe to crack seal that portion.
In about 5 years from now, it's 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
So by far.
Generally, concrete, you put it in, and unless somebody does something they shouldn't, you don't
Good.
have an issue with it.
Yep.
Now, we do have a warning. If we have if we have concrete break before the year warranty's up, we've always made contractors go back and repair it at their cost. So usually if it's gonna break, it's in the first year. So that would be like any other project. If a driveway cracks where it's not supposed to, we have to replace it in that first year.
I think it's a no-brainer to go with the concrete, in my opinion.
Sounds good to me.
So Billy, we need
Council
a.
President can add this as legislation. You have it in front of you now.
What's that?
Wow.
It's my understanding, it's my understanding
Good job,
that
Roxanne.
suspension is requested, and so it's ready.
Okay.
Yes, just to clarify on that, this project, as you are well aware, we tried to bid this out several times. ODOT requires us to have it awarded, their fiscal year is July 1. They want this passed and in their hands by June 15th. That's why we're requesting the suspension with the emergency clause attached.
Also, as a part of this project, the completion date, is it on
October
here?
of 23.
October. So, October of '23, you know, scheduling wise, this gives the contractor a little bit more time by passing this under suspension so that we can get the project pre-construction meeting started. get the schedules going, and the significant portion of this project is the walk down from Jan's Road down into Ritter Park. So when you haul in that amount of dirt, you know, there's gonna be some settling, so if the contractor gets it in on time, or in enough time, gets it in early, that could help with a lot of the settling that could happen with large quantities of dirt that get brought in.
Wouldn't it be more cost effective just do a zip line from there?
You
and then
know-
maybe a
How
climbing
do we go
climbing
back
wall?
up? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That would
Climbing
be
wall and way
cool.
up?
That would be way cooler, yes.
And keep them busy.
That's right.
Probably keep Billy busy too.
Change Ritter Park and do firehouse left or something.
Yeah. Okay, so, like to add resolution number 033-22 to the agenda. It's a resolution awarding the Ritter Park Area Path Project, bid number 109008, and declaring an emergency. Have a motion?
So moved.
Don't we need it with the concrete?
Suspension.
Yeah. Just need to get the motion on the table for this first and then do the suspension after.
Yep.
So we need a second.
Second.
All right, any more comments or questions regarding this?
Just glad it's happening.
Yeah.
Exactly. Could I have a motion for suspension?
Second.
Hey, Rox, please call the roll on suspension.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
And that resolution is for the alternative bid amount, or does it matter?
Yeah.
The alternate bid.
Is it written, I
I
guess?
don't believe it's written to specify which way it's going.
Yeah. All right. Rox, please call the roll on the resolution.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
All right, that is passed on first read under suspension. Item K5, discussion or action, request to apply for the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, First Responders Wellness, Recruitment, Retention, and Resilience Grant through the State of Ohio Office for First Responders Wellness for the police and fire departments.
Okay, so this is, Governor DeWine released $70 million for first responder wellness, retention, and recruitment. We don't really fit into the wellness because we do have a decent job of that already, and the recruitment side of it, you have to directly relate that you've lost staffing, like cut positions because of coronavirus, so we don't really fit those two. But we do fit in the retention piece of being able to provide a potential 10% bonus to all first responders. So that's really what we were interested in going for with this grant, is specifically the 70 million is only for those three areas, and they want to fund as many projects as possible, with no money left over.
So when you say a 10% increase, that be for a certain time or just a bonus?
So it's a retention bonus, so they like to see it spread over time. So my proposal would be to have two payments, one this year and one next year. Split the 10% into 2 years. You can only do it a max of up to 10% max. And that's written in the ARPA language from the start.
Do you have a question? Sure. Thank you, Joel. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Just need a motion to approve for the,
Make the motion.
Second.
Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Joel. Item K6, discussion or action request to apply for the Walmart Safety Grant. Chief?
Yes, so this is a grant that's offered to several community members every year through Walmart. We put together a package for some equipment in our evidence room that would enhance basically the air quality there. And we submitted for it, so just let you know that it's potentially up to $5,000, but it really determines how many projects are submitted through our local stores.
Okay. All right. Well, we know that is definitely needed.
Yes, so we're trying to address it on a shorter term
Mhm.
in the meantime with some air purification equipment.
All right.
This Walmart grant, did we receive that last year?
Yeah, we've replied, traditionally, it's been kind of a partnership between police and fire. We alternate years, so I received it. We did some repeater work a few years ago with it.
Last year, we
Fire
got
department,
temperature monitoring for our burn building,
so,
and then they also did the pole barn at the burn building the 2 years prior to that.
so that we're not competing against each other and monopolizing, the funds. We're kind of alternating years on what we're submitting.
Any other questions or comments?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
All right, item K7, discussion or action request to apply for the Violence Against Women Act 2022 grant. Chief?
Thank you, Council President. This is, again, we applied for this last year and was awarded it. This is a partnership between the Center for Child and Family Advocacy and it's basically law enforcement funds that help pay for their nonprofit, their victims advocates and counselors. So there's no match, it's an in-kind match, so our salary of our detective and SRO are figured into the match on us and there's no out-of-pocket.
Sounds like a great program. Anybody have any questions or comments? We need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
Okay, that has been approved. Item K8, discussion or action request to apply for PEP insurance grant. Chief?
Council President, thank you. So the PEP grant is through our insurance carrier. They offer the city a grant essentially up to $1,000 a year. I stuck out an email to the department heads a couple months ago, asked if anyone else, we've utilized it in the past. In fact, that's how we got our snow blower, to try and cut down on back injuries and stuff. So we're looking to, from conversations with Laney, no one else had applied for it, so we're looking to apply for it.
Okay. Great. Any other questions or comments?
Just one question, probably about all of these. They're all written in-house, all
Yes.
the grants?
Yes,
Assumed.
I'm writing them
Yeah,
in my spare moments.
yeah.
Some help my wife. My wife writes a lot of grants as well. Yes, I'm writing all these grants.
All right. Thank you.
You could have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
All right, item K9 is discussion or action, accept donation of meeting room chairs from NAPNAS Church to the fire department. Who wants this?
You want to?
Yeah, sorry I don't have the exact count of chairs, but we replaced all of our meeting room chairs with their old church chairs when they replaced theirs, and they are about 100 times more comfortable, and you're not sitting on wood screws that I've stuck in about 30 of those chairs, so
Nice.
much better than they were.
Great.
And they stack, which is nice.
All right, could I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
Thank you, NAPNAS. All right, we'll go around the table, and since Joel was on vacation, just put you on the spot. right away. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be
And
back.
Chad, nice job while he was out.
So, I'm gonna get right down to business. So the Cultural Center of Henry County met recently, and they tabled a decision to reverse their decision that they had made previously, which was to withdraw from the city's proposal to enter into a grant agreement or submit a grant application and enter into an agreement. As such, I responded with a letter stating that, I believe you all read it, but the letter stated that if they didn't reverse their decision, that I would formally withdraw that application. While I was gone, I'd gotten a phone call and got a request from their president, and the request was to hold off on pulling the application. I verbally agreed to that, and I'll memorialize that tomorrow with a letter. But the request was to refrain from pulling the application until at least the June 14th deadline. So I stated that I would wait till June 15th, which would be the day after their deadline. Also, on that note, I did want to make a comment because I did keep up with some of the, articles, emails, and things that were going back and forth. One of the comments I saw was that that there were rumors of other grant opportunities in the future for this. So, urging that, we should continue forward. And this coming from one of the CCHC board members. I don't know who it was that was quoted as saying that. But I wanted to make, my comment to that is that I've been doing this, managing, cleaning up properties and dealing with projects associated with the Clean Ohio funds since 2006. And very familiar with that program and how these grants work and what they are, what they look for. And for the first time in my career, I saw this moment came up where they really, for lack of a better word, relaxed a lot of the rules to be able to include projects like this. And this doesn't come around, these grants don't come around very often. It's easy to say or speculate that there will be other grant funds in the future for projects like this, but in my experience since 2006, that's just simply not the case. These are rarities. So I just wanted to make that statement because I think it's important that, and not to discredit whoever said that, it's a matter of, I know I have that experience with this program, and I know that statement doesn't have a lot of merit to it if you know what this program is what's involved in this program. So this really is I'll just call it a once in a long time opportunity that kind of fell in our lap to be able to get this done. So that's all I have to say about that. As for the pool opening, which is opening tomorrow, by the way, 1 p.m. And I know I've been keeping up on this too, but it's a lot of work to open up a new facility and winterize it. And when you build a new facility, I remember I've been sitting on the senior center board for 5.5 years now, and when they built the new senior center, it had issues too. In this case, we ran into a minor plumbing issue that turned into a mechanical issue with the pump room, and everything got fixed, and, the opening for this year got delayed just a little bit because of that. Lessons learned. But if that's the worst that we've had to deal with, then I think we're doing pretty good. But it couldn't have happened without the effort of a lot of people, but namely Tony Cotter and Chad Luffs and Brad. Really stepped up and made this happen to get this pool open this quickly. But also, help from the electric department. Jeff Weiss specifically came out and helped out with taking out and putting in the pumps, and he knew just how to do it, and it was easy peasy for him because he does it more frequently than everybody else. And specifically custom ag. When the pumps were submerged underwater and then we pumped the water down, you can't just start those pumps up, or you can fry them. And the recommendation was to bake them, and that's exactly what Custom Ag did. They baked them over the weekend. The pumps work perfectly fine. That's just what you do when they get submerged in water. And they put us ahead on the list and made an exception for us. Really came through in the clutch. And big thank you goes out to Custom Ag for doing that for us. So wanted to make sure everybody knew that it's not easy. We hope that staff can make it look easy, but it's not easy when these things happen. You run into roadblocks and you just make do with what you have and figure out solutions. And these guys did it.
So all this time I was thinking it was because you missed opening day last year, you were out of town, and I thought you just wanted to wait to open it till you were back. That wasn't it?
No, it wasn't,
Okay.
and
All right.
sadly, that's
My mistake.
that's the case. Yeah. I do have a couple other quick shots here. The NORA, we're suspending the NORA for June 24th Feast Fest from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. This was done in the past for Rib Fest. Chief, that letter I got from Joel Miller today, so that came up. The main stop, they're planning to open in early September. They're having an issue with delivery of things.
What?
I know it. Can
That's
you believe it?
weird.
I know. Underground storage tanks for fuel, though. That's
Kind of important thing for a gas station to have.
yeah. So that's the holdup, but once they get them, they should be. It's been probably month and a half or 2 months delay. Bigby, we're waiting on the permit application from them. Just need a little bit more information, but there's no timeline yet on opening. But we're still getting the zoning permit around, and then they'll get their plans around and get them into Wood County to be reviewed. Last one is the Duncan. That seems to be moving quite well. They're gutting the place. I've seen a lot of trucks coming in and out beforehand, and now it's gutted. But we also don't have a firm timeline on when that's gonna open, but just wanted to give a couple quick shots on the happenings in Napoleon right now, so. Good to be back, thank you very much.
Welcome back. Billy?
I'm requesting an executive session for pending or imminent litigation, 5 minutes max.
Okay. Dr. Dave,
What?
do you have anything to share tonight? Anything good of the city? Not, you can say pass, if you don't.
No,
Ken?
I'm passing.
Geez, Dan,
Same.
all right. Want me to skip you, or
It doesn't matter what you want to do.
Mr. Mayor?
Need to appoint Brittany Schwab to the Parks and Recreation Board. She will replace Matt Hardy, who resigned after a long tenure on that board. Matt did a lot of really great things for the city, volunteered a lot of time, and schedule gets changed and those kinds of things happen, and he asked to step down, so obviously that was granted. We needed somebody, and Brittany Schwab emailed us that she wanted in, so pretty easy to do.
Do we need a motion to approve
We usually
that?
do, yeah.
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
Rox, please call the roll.
Lori?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Thank you to all the veterans organizations for the Memorial Day ceremony. I thought that was it was a beautiful day and really well done. I appreciate, again, the invitation to speak. It's been that long, but I appreciate the invitation for helping out at the Safety Service Award Night, Chief Mack and Assistant Chief Fry. I appreciate that. That's always a special night when those two entities can be in the same room, and it's really kind of a neat thing. I talked to other people before, and they always look at me like I have 5 heads, like, wait, you're police and fire work together? Yeah, they actually do, so. If you pass along, Chief Mack, that Officer Strickland did a nice job with the Rotary. I think what his position as SRO, that was really nice for him to come and talk to us. It was really well done. I noticed that the grain bin is now up for the fire training area. I drove by 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, there's nothing there yet. And like a week later, it's like, there it is, so.
Yep,
when
we
it-
have that up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And we're just waiting for the fake grand leg to go up next to that.
Okay,
I think we have our first class scheduled this September.
okay, very good.
We're gonna be holding our first after class.
Very good. I think we all realize, you know, how valuable Laney was, and, you know, she's gonna be tough to replace. We just have to remind ourselves that, when Laney came, she was a little green, and she, you know, she was a quick learner, and we're gonna miss her a lot. So, like everything else, when the new person comes in, we can't compare new person to, and Laney. You get to compare to early Laney, not the last. So we're gonna miss Laney Lambert a lot, and we wish her the best of luck. So that is all that I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I just have something for Chief Mack there. Cops and Bobbers.
Sir,
First of all, who came up with that name?
Officer Strickland.
That's awesome. Do you want to just talk about that a little bit, what that's going to be?
Yeah, that's coming up next week. Officer Strickland came up with that idea. We were talking a few months ago about trying to engage the community in different ways, and that was something that he came up with, and then we voted on some names internally, and that was where we landed. He's actually partnering with the Department of Natural Resources. They're providing poles and that type of thing. We received a donation that'll be on your next agenda towards some of the youth programs. So it should be a pretty good thing. Kickball's also coming up. Those just went out today, I think, in press releases.
All right, great. Thank you. That's all I have. Ross?
My oldest daughter registered for both of those events, so looking forward to it. Nothing else for me, thank you.
Lori?
I think the mayor stole all of my thunder. I just ditto everything he said, and thank you for the invitation to the Safety Awards night. It was really very, very nicely done, so thank you. That's it.
Kevin?
I have a few items. The Finance and Budget Committee meeting will meet at the end of June. It'll be June 27th for second quarter budget adjustments, so that will go on. We are on task to continue to move to RETA on July 1st. There will be a welcome letter that'll be issued out to all taxpayers in the city of Napoleon to let them know that the move will be ongoing. And I know there'll be a lot of questions, but we'll work through that process. So there'll be a letter with my signature, the mayor's signature, and a representative from RETA on there. So that will be coming out here within a week or so. We've had weekly discussions with them the last several months, and again, we are on task for July 1st. Things are going pretty smooth with that. The last item I have is, Brian, that was a very good article on Saturday about the CCHC in the paper. I thought it was very well written. You know, not all plans go according, and sometimes things do not get saved. Joel, a lot of moving parts with that. I commend your patience with that and moving that to June 15th. I'll just get on my soapbox a little bit that I'm gonna guess that they're gonna come back to us, but I would see that it can't just be a letter signed by all of them that we want back in. I would think that there should be more precise worded contract that everybody knows exactly what'll happen, and everybody should be on board with that. So,
Will you proofread my letter then?
I'll be more than happy to proofread your letter.
It'll be pretty specific.
I just think in a PR standpoint, in some ways, very unfairly in my mind, that the city of Napoleon has got a black eye on this, when in reality, in my opinion, we are trying to make the best of a situation. So, and that, I'll end that.
Well said.
Well said. Exactly. Thank you.
Chief Fry.
Chief Fry.
Well, you know, my date is, August. I don't want you to quote the September date on the center, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, move on to item L, executive session. Do we have a motion to go into executive session for, did you say pending arraignment litigation?
Pending or imminent litigation.
Let me hear that. Okay, have a motion. Thank you.
Second.
Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
All right, can I have a motion to come out of the executive session for pending litigation?
So move.
Second.
Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
A no action taken. Item M, approve payment of bills. In the absence of any objections or corrections, payment of bills shall stand approved. Hearing none, they stand approved. Have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Rox, please call the roll.
Lori,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes,
Dan,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
we're adjourned.